So last day we have ended our discussion with introduction of various loop, and we have just started the part of for loop, and we have seen that how this for loop can be written syntactically, and we have taken an example for adding 1 to 5, and we have seen that how we can write program in this case using for loop. You see, today we will start with some interesting points about this for loop. First thing is that always remember the purpose of loop is when you have to execute a similar type of statement more than once in a program. If you don't need similar type of statement to run more than once, then there is no need to have a for loop or while loop or do while anyone. Now let's see some interesting fact about for loop. For example, last day we have seen that the syntax of a for loop is something like for within a bracket we have actually three separated place separated by semicolons, and under this for loop whatever we want to execute more than once should be written within this bracket, something over here. Now if I just represent this separated place as say some by some symbol, for example this is symbol A, this part is symbol A, this part is symbol B, this part is symbol C, and this part is symbol D. Generally what we know that this part is a part of initialization, this B part is part for condition checking, C part is for increment or decrement or change of the loop variable that we are actually using as a counter in the loop, and D part is the part that actually I want to execute more than once, that I have written, we have to write in D. So with respect to these different parts, if we just want to write the the order of this ABCD that is followed in a for loop, it should be something like A, then followed by B. If this is correct, if this is true, then obviously it will be D, and then C, right? Condition checking will happen, and after this A will not get repeated, directly it will go to B, right? Then if it is again correct, to D, again to C, and then again to B, and if this is wrong then the for loop stops, something like this. So we can get a this particular pattern every time, right? And since this is false, so it will basically go to end of the loop, right? Now my point is that always treat this four positions, four part, the ABCD, as an individual statement in the for loop. Always remember. What does it mean? I mean, what I'm trying to say is that there is no relationship between this A and B part and C part and D part. Just this is the, I have said, an order of execution. Whatever you have written in A should be executed first, then in B should be executed first, then D, then C, and then again B, then again D. So this is an order. Now you can write anything on these four parts. For example, traditionally we know that for loop should look something like for say I equal to 1, say I lesser than equal to 5, say I plus plus, and within this we have printf bit. Ideally, a for loop should be written in this way, but it is not really restricted that you have to follow this. You have to put this one, this one, this one over here. I mean, you can write anything. Even you can write a printf statement also. What I mean to say is that if I ask you that I have a program, something like for, within this I have written printf, say for example, say hello, then I have written printf hi, then here I have written printf bit, and within this bracket I have written printf Kolkata. You know what will be printed actually? What will happen if I'm sorry, I should not have any semicolon. At least at least up to this situation. So if I run this code, I mean somehow assume that we have a main function over here, some main function is here, and maybe some other predefined functions are present. So I'm ignoring those parts. Okay, I'm not interested for that other part of the code. I'm interested for only this part. And if I run this program, then what will happen? Then what will be the output? As we know that this is the A part, I mean, let's take a different color so that you can realize. As we have seen that this is basically the A part, this is basically the B part, this is basically the C part, and this is the D part, right? And the order is A, B, C, D, B, C, D, B, C, D, something like this. I'm sorry. I mean, according to the previous case, it was D and it was C, right? So let's follow the same format. It is C and it is D. And we all know that it follows that A to then B, then D, then C. Then again B, then D, then C, then and so on, right? So that means if I take only at least first four print statements, forget about the other prints, then what will be printed? First hello will get printed, then hi will get printed, then Kolkata will get printed, then BIT will get printed. That's all. And if you think that after BIT what will happen? After BIT again hi will get printed. Because of after C obviously error check, I mean condition checking part should come for execution. Although you have not placed any condition checking, but that is not important because uh, compiler doesn't really care about what you have written in this part, what you have written in this part, and what you have written in this part. That means depends on your requirement, you can play with this for loop in any way. But remember, you must have these three portions in the for loop. That means you have to have these three semicolons. I mean two semicolons at least. If you don't put these two semicolons, exactly two semicolons within this bracket, you will get a syntactical error. That is the thing. But whatever you place within this A, B, C or D part, it's not going to put any syntactical error because syntactically you are correct. Maybe you will get some logical error or may not, depends upon what you wanted to do. And now that mean if I say that let's write another type of for loop. I mean suppose I want to I want to make an infinite loop. Okay, I want to make an infinite loop. What does it mean? Mean that if I say that, for example, I want to print this bit infinite times, that means the printf bit, this statement will never stop executing, right? That means somehow the for loop that I will write over here, the condition part should be always true. That's the point, right? Now how you can do this? Actually you can have various ways. For example, let's take a situation that you have written I equal to 0 and you have done I plus plus, and here you are checking whether I is say greater than equal to 0 or not. You see what will happen? I equal to 0, I has been initialized by 0, 0 greater than equal to 0, yes, it's true. So bit will get printed and then I will be incremented by 1, so I will become 1. 1, now this part again comes, so 1 greater than equal to 0, again true. Then again bit will get printed and so on. You know, as soon as I will get increment, I will keep on incrementing this particular bit will be printed, because if I is greater than 0 then always condition is true, but this is not a true, this is not a true infinite loop. Naturally question come, why I am saying that this is not a true infinite loop? The reason is that if you can remember my previous class where I have discussed about the range of the data type, since I have assumed I as a simple integer variable, that means it's basically a signed integer variable, right? By default any variable is signed, and if I consider I have a 32-bit Turbo C++ compiler or many other compiler, that means I takes 2 byte of memory location to store the content of I value 0, 1, 2 or something like that. And in that case what we have seen, the range of this, range of the value that can store in the I is actually from minus 32,768 to plus 32,767. Why I am saying this is 30, what 32,768 means? It means 2 to the power 15 minus 2 to the power 15 actually, or you can say that minus 2 to the power 16 minus 1. I'm sorry, 16 minus 1, right? I'm sorry. Now still if you cannot follow what I am writing, you see why I have written 16, because it's 2 byte, that means 16 bit. So from this point this 16 is coming. Now still if you cannot follow what I have written and why came in this way, you can go my previous lecture video and you can find that range, find the lecture from where I have discussed about the range of any data type. So that means, let's come to the point, that now I was 0, next value of I will be 1, next value of I will be 2. In this way a time will come when value of I will be 32,767. I'm sorry, 32,767. And what is the next value of this? By mathematically, we have seen in the previous class that data type value is basically presented in a circle, right? And there the next value will be minus 32,768. Sorry, again 768. So as soon as I will become minus 32,768 will become false, because that minus value is never not greater than 0. At that time the loop will break. So you can say that from 0 to this time, up to this time, the loop will run. That means this bit will be printed how many times? 32,768 times. From 0 to 32,767 means 32,768. Now if you want to make this as a true infinite loop, we have some other choice also. For example, say approach 1. I mean, there are several approaches. Let's discuss one by one. I can write that, say I equal to 0, and then I will be equal to, say, 1, suppose, and I plus plus. What does it mean? Printf bit. So what will happen? You may say that you have not written any condition over here. But as I told you that these three parts is not actually, restricted for writing a particular type of statement. You can write anything, depends on your requirement. But generally this part is used for condition, because ultimately after this, if this is true, if this part is true, then the bit will execute, the printf bit will execute. That means what actually is happening over here, I is becoming 0 first time, fine. Now in this b part, as we have seen in the previous, according to the previous strategy, in the b part, since it is hard coded that I is equal to 1, that means the value of I will be equal to 1, which means it's true. That means value of I is always true. So that means never this printf bit will stop, because I plus plus statement doesn't have any effect. Why? Because after incrementing 1, I mean previous value of I was 1, then I plus plus, that means 1 plus 1 equal to 2. After executing this C part, when again B part will execute, I will be reinitialized by 1 again. And again it will be true, and bit will be printed, and then again I will become 2, and then again I will be reinitialized by 1. So basically this statement doesn't have any effect. Now if there is no effect, is it needed to write anything over here? Actually, C gives us a provision that you even can consider an infinite loop by writing something like this statement also. This is strategy 2. What does it mean? This is actually, you can say that it is basically conditionless. There is no condition. That means the gate is always open. If you can remember my previous class where we have discussed about that diagram of which represents the execution of the statements in the loop, we have seen that for loop or while loop both are entry control loop, and in case of entry control loop there is a gate that is represented by the condition, and there is no condition, that means there is no gate. And if there is no gate, that means entry point is always open. And now if entry point is always open, that means surely this printf statement will execute infinite times. Now that means this is another approach for writing an infinite loop. Now let's make it more little bit different. For example, as we have discussed that in general we write a for loop something like this: I equal to 0, I less than equal to say less than n, I plus plus, or I minus minus, whatever, doesn't matter. And there is some statement says print fbit. Since you have seen that it is not mandatory that you have to write some statement in this part or middle part or less in this part, that means to make it a proper loop which is not infinite, something like this, you can place this I0 lesser than n and plus plus these parts in other place of the program. But you have to remember one thing, that somehow this I equal to 0 should be executed first time and only once, and then I lesser than n should be executed every time before the for it enter within the bracket, and this I plus plus should execute after execution of the statements present under the for loop. That means writing a for loop in this way is equivalent if we write the for loop something like, I've not written I equal to 0 over here, say I don't want to write I equal to 0 over here. If I don't want to write I equal to 0, then it is not going to work properly, because we have seen in case of a for loop you must initialize your loop variable by some value. That means you have to initialize I by 0 or 1 or whatever. But if we don't want to write over here, I can place it over here. So just before the for loop starts, that I has been initialized by 0, no problem. But this I lesser than n statement, you cannot change anywhere, because every time this should be checked before entering in this printf statement. That's why you must have this I lesser than n in this situation within this second part. And suppose I don't want to write this I plus plus in the third place, I want to keep it blank. But you know what you can do, if you write a printf statement, we have to write it, right? This is a statement that I want to write in blue, so that means obviously this statement will be there, fine. But if you don't increment, if you don't increase this value of you will see that it's going to do a infinite loop again. Why? Because I equals to 0, if I consider n is a non-zero number, for example say 1, okay, 1, so 0 lesser than 1, true, bit will be printed. And since you have not incremented this I plus plus, that means I remain same, right? I remain same, that means I remain 0, and again 0 lesser than 1 will be true, again bit will be printed, again I will not change, so I remain 0, so 0 lesser than 1 again true, and bit, and it will continue forever, because you are not changing your loop variable. But in this particular situation I don't want that, I want a proper variable, proper loop which will end at some point of time. That means somehow you have to change your content of I somehow. But since I don't want to write in the third place, what I can do, after printing this bit, I can change my variable over here. So what will happen basically? I has been initialized by 0. There is nothing, doesn't matter. 0 lesser than n, true, yes, bit printed, then it become 1. And after this, in this particular part will come, but you have not written anything, doesn't matter because you have already changed your I. So next value of I, that is 1 lesser than n, may be true. If it is true, then again bit will be printed, and again I will become 2, and then 2 lesser than n. So depends upon the n, obviously at some point of time this loop will break. So this is another approach by which you can do the same job using a for loop. Now you see, from the various variations of this for loop syntax, one thing is clear, that is there is no restriction about writing something in this first part of the before semicolon, within two semicolons, and at the I mean after the semicolon. What you will write and how you will write is totally depends upon your own logic and own consideration. So don't be, I mean, don't be uh, very strict for writing every time your for loop program in this way. I mean, maybe you require variations in different programs, depends upon requirement. Now one more thing that is I forgot to tell you, that is there is one more thing, that is, if I write that for say I equal to, let's write in a different color, so I mean it will be much more clear because it is a different issue. Suppose I want to write, suppose I have written as something like this: for I equal to 0, I lesser than say 5, okay, and I plus plus, okay, and then I have written say printf, no, not this one. Suppose under this I have written printf. I have not written any bracket. You see, writing bracket for one statement is not mandatory, but I tell to the beginners, because if you don't write bracket, if you have more than one statement under a loop, then it will produce logical error. So it is always better you will keep on practice with keeping bracket, and whenever you will be in proficient or maybe you will be average user of C program, then you can obviously understand your the chance of having logical error will decrease, so it will not be harmful at that point. Anyway, so if I write in this way, then still, I mean, you can, I think you can easily say that how many times this for loop will run, that is 5 times, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. For these 5 values of I, these I lesser than 5 will be true. That means BIT will be printed. That means BIT will be printed 5 times from this one, right? You can say. Now we know that obviously after for loop I should not have enough semicolon, right? But if I place a semicolon, then what will happen? If I place this semicolon, some people will say that this is a syntactical error, right? Yes, obviously, this is not given in any syntax that after for loop you must have a semicolon. So most of the people will suggest this as a syntactical error, but it is not true. This is not a syntactical error. This is what, only this statement, if we consider only this statement, I mean, let's rewrite this statement again over here. Always remember, within after for loop, if you have a semicolon, then what happens? This part, only the first line, can be represented like for I equal to 0, I lesser than 5, I plus plus, and within bracket there is nothing. and then the printf statement. What does it mean? What I mean to say is that if you have some statement after this for loop, yet that will not be considered under for loop if I have a semicolon over here. If I have a semicolon after for loop, only the first statement, that is this statement, I mean, let's I mean try to understand this. Only this statement will be considered as this part. That means, and this is what we call blank loop. Why blank loop? Because I have a for loop. Under for loop there is no statement. So just for loop will run 5 times. That's all. Nothing will happen. You know, as an user, you will not able to realize that there is a for loop running behind. There is, because there is no statement or no, I mean, nothing is happening. And this statement present exactly after for loop will be considered as an independent statement in this situation. Independent statement means the statement is not under for loop. That means if we don't have this semicolon, as you are saying that bit will be printed 5 times, now you cannot say that if you have a semicolon over here, because bit statement is not even under for loop. It is an independent statement. That means in this program, if we have a for loop, if we have a semicolon, then this bit will be printed only once. Okay. So that means naturally there are some different, very interesting questions come sometimes in exam or maybe in various MCQ. Something like, suppose there is a question like for I equal to 0, I lesser than 5, then I plus plus, and then I have a semicolon, and then I have written printf %d I. So value of I will be printed. Now question is that what will be the value of I after executing this particular true statement? Most of the people will say that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is false, which is not true, because most of the people will actually first of all ignore the semicolon given. Other people will think that this is a syntactical error if they have not the knowledge, and very few people will realize that this, due to this semicolon, this for loop is itself a blank loop, and this printf statement is an independent statement. Now question will come that if this is independent, that means value of I will be printed only once. So what is the value of I in this when this line is executed? You see what this particular I mean program stands for. You can design, if you want to remove this semicolon, it will be represented something like for I equal to 0, I lesser than 5, then I plus plus, and within for loop there is nothing, right? And then as an independent statement I have %d and then I, right? Now you see the for loop, until this for loop stops, this printf statement will not execute. And when this for loop will stop? This for loop will stop when I will become 6. I'm sorry, when I will become 5. right? Because 0 lesser than 5 true, loop will run. 1 lesser than 5 true. In this way 4 lesser than 5 is also true, then loop will run and 4 will become 5. When I will become 5, then the loop stops. Then only this printf statement start executing. That means the value of I that will be printed is equal to 5. So sometimes there will be different options. For example, a can be given something like 0 1 2 3 4. B will be given syntax error. Okay, I'm telling you. I mean, if this is an MCQ in your program, in your exam, then the options can be something like 0 1 2 3 4, syntax error, a correct one, that is 5, and maybe the other is none of the above. And we know that this is correct, but unfortunately, how many people will give this correct? Only 5%. So I don't want that you will be outside this 5%. That's why I'm telling you this one. So these are some um, various facts about using for loop in various way, which we will use frequently in the future lectures. So that's why we have discussed all this.